Welcome to Daily Devotions. My name is Raymond Gregory, and right now we are in 1 Corinthians chapter 13 in what so many people refer to as the love chapter. Like I said, it takes center stage at pretty much every wedding ever, or vow renewal ever, and it is the topic of many Pinterest boards. And so what is this chapter really all about, and why is it there? So we talked about in the last video what love is, and then the video before that we talked about the need for love in the ministry, because the church there in Corinth was so obsessed with spiritual gifts and charisma that they were missing the point that it needed to be undergirded by love, and love needed to be the goal here. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about what love isn't. In a Devo I've titled "Love is Not a Rap Battle." What? Okay, so there's this new TV show called Drop the Mic where these celebrities will go on and do a rap battle. If you're not familiar with what a rap battle is, it's basically a rap throwing shade at each other, making fun of each other. It's a very prideful kind of thing, puffing themselves up to make the other person feel inferior. And so Snoop Dogg was actually really good at rap battling. Eminem kind of cut his teeth on the rap battle. And another thing about Snoop Dogg too, he was like the king of onomatopoeia. And if you know what onomatopoeia is, it's basically any word that means what it sounds like. So like the word boom is onomatopoeia because it sounds like an explosion and is also describing an explosion. And so you have all these words like bow wow, for shizzle, drizzle, chisel, dizzle, whatever. And it sounded like he was having a stroke sometimes. But anyway, I was really into it when I was a skater in high school and stuff. We listened to 2001. It was like our favorite rap album. And I wouldn't suggest listening to it because it's a terrible, terrible album content-wise. But the guy's kind of the king of the rap battle. And so why do I bring up a rap battle? And why have I titled this Devo, "Love is Not a Rap Battle"? Well, because the basis for what love isn't is basically a word that is onomatopoetic. That's a mouthful. Try to say that in a rap song. Onomatopoetic. Basically, it's a word that sounds like what it means. And so we really need to wrap our heads around what this word in the Greek means and the basis for it. In this Devo, I've titled, "Love is Not a Rap Battle." All right, so like I said, we'll be in 1 Corinthians chapter 13. I'll be reading from the New Living Translation. Again, we talked about what love is in the last video. We talked about the basis of love in the video before that. Basically, the church there in Corinth was obsessed with spiritual gifts and charisma, and they were missing the point as to why they had these spiritual gifts and why these spiritual gifts were important. And so Paul is writing to them and saying, hey, the greatest of these is love. We need to start with love. And so then in the last video, we talked about what it is. Now we're going to talk about what it isn't. So let's read 1 Corinthians chapter 13 in the New Living Translation. It sounds like this. Love is patient and kind. Love is not jealous or boastful or proud or rude. It does not demand its own way. It is not irritable. It keeps no record of being wronged. It does not rejoice about injustice, but it rejoices whenever truth wins out. Love never gives up. Love never loses faith, is always hopeful, and endures through every circumstance. Okay, so I'm going to break it kind of into three categories. I want to break it up into what love isn't. And then in the next video, we're going to talk about what love does not do. And then we are going to talk about what love, I lost my place here, what love does not do, and then what love ultimately means for us in the video after that. And so right now we're going to get into this. Love isn't. Love isn't. Okay, so number one, love isn't jealous. Love isn't jealous. Okay, so jealous. That can get a little bit confusing because we hear scriptures like Exodus 34:14, you must worship no other gods, for the Lord whose very name is jealous, is a jealous God, and he's jealous about our relationship, his relationship with you. So, okay, well, if love isn't jealous and God is love, and isn't that a contradiction? Well, no, because the Greek word has two different definitions. Now, the definition of the word in the Greek, which is zalao is the Greek word. It's an onomatopoetic word. Remember, onomatopoeia is a word that sounds like what it's explaining. So, like sizzle or boom or bam or something like that. So, zalao is a Greek word, and when it's spoken and pronounced correctly, it is basically to be heated or to boil with envy or hatred or anger. Okay, so basically it's the word describing and then intended to sound like a boiling pot. So the word jealous here is to be heated or to boil with envy, hatred, or anger, like a boiling pot, uncontrollable in its heat and anger. So that is what it says. Love is not a boiling pot of envy, hatred, or anger. So the other definition of jealous is to be zealously sought after, So that use of the word in the Greek is used in Exodus. So God is zealously seeking after our heart. He wants our attention and our affection. And the use of it here in 1 Corinthians is basically to boil with envy, anger, and hatred. And so love is not jealous. Now, you ever had a moment where you felt jealous and you've boiled with anger and envy? Basically, have you ever been on Instagram at the lowest part of your day? Man, I tell you, there's people I follow on my Instagram. Now, don't go snooping on who I follow and try to, let's guess who it is. But there are people I follow on my Instagram, and I wonder why I follow them at all, because sometimes I'll look at their posts and I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel jealous. How are you so good looking? How are you so photogenic? How is your life so perfectly filtered? And how are you always taking pictures in front of the perfect white background? And why does it lay out so perfectly? And you start to get a little bit jealous. You start to boil over in anger and envy of what these people have. Well, look, I've said it before, but people are posting photos to social media at the height. They're giving you the best of themselves. And we tend to look at it at the lowest part of our day. And so it starts to make us jealous. And then there's the added thing of people who kind of bother you already. Once you start to boil with anger or envy and have hatred in your heart towards somebody, even if it's a small amount, everything they do bugs you, even if it's nothing big. And my wife and I always joke, because sometimes, I'll be like, oh, look at so-and-so, look at this post about so-and-so. And she'll just say, yeah, just look at them over there eating cookies. And so there's this meme that is basically when somebody does something that bugs you, everything they do bugs you. And it's like, just look at him over there eating cookies. How dare him eat cookies? And so our joke between each other is, just look at him over there eating cookies. Basically, she's saying to me, it's not a big deal. They just took a picture and posted it. Like, why are you so upset over this thing? But because the slow boil becomes an aggressive boil, and then all of a sudden jealousy leads to some other stuff. And so I think the reason it becomes such a problem for us is because we look at things through a lens of insecurity. So we're looking at others and we're feeling insecure about ourselves, and we're seeing how great that looks. And our insecurity manifests and then becomes jealousy. And so we need to be careful, because jealousy through the lens of insecurity will burn. Jealousy through the lens of love will burn out. I'll say it again. Jealousy through the lens of insecurity will burn. Jealousy through the lens of love will burn out. And so that is kind of the foundation for what becomes somewhat of a rap battle of the mind. You're insecure, you see people that start to bug you, you become jealous. Then you try to compensate. And so if jealousy is boiling water, then the next point here, love isn't boastful. Boastful would be the flame, right? It causes jealousy. Your insecurities cause you to boast in yourself, to prop yourself up. And then number 3, love isn't proud. Proud or pride is basically the match that strikes the flame that then heats the water to a boil. So when you become prideful, or when you live in this attitude of being proud and let pride let pride be the match that strikes the flame to make you boastful, which then boils the water and ultimately makes you jealous. Those 3 things really go terribly together, I should say. And then number 4, love isn't rude. And so rude or rudeness would be the steam. It's the effect of your jealousy. You become a little bit calloused and you become rude towards people. And then finally, number 5, love isn't irritable. And it's amazing when you become rude through being proud and boastful because you're jealous and you're insecure, and your jealousy manifests in all these different ways. Because of those things, you now are devoid of joy and you become irritable. And I can't tell you how many times where I'm having problems with people that I should not have any problems with, and I become jealous, and I become irritable and rude and prideful and boastful. And then the people who suffer are the people you love the most. When I'm irritable and feeling this way, my kids will come in, and maybe I'm trying to watch a TV show, and I'll snap at them. And it's like, I'm trying to watch a show, and they're like, I just wanted to tell you I love you. And it's like, oh, knife to the heart. It spills over, and the people who suffer are the people who you should be loving sacrificially the most. And so all this to say, love is not a rap battle. Love is not rude, irritable, proud, boastful, and does not delight in jealousy, does not give credence to jealousy, does not let our insecurities manifest in jealousy and burn us. But instead, if we look through the lens of love, it will burn out. And so how do we look through the lens of love? Well, Hebrews 13. Keep your life free from the love of money and be content with what you have. For he has said, I will never leave you nor forsake you. So we can confidently say, the Lord is my helper. I will not fear. What can man do to me? We need to delight in the Lord. Contentment is the ice in the boiling water. Contentment is the ice in the boiling water. Love is not a rap battle. It is a duet with Christ. So that is what I have for you today. And hopefully it spoke to you and didn't make you want to go and listen to Snoop Dogg, because that would make me sad. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like Snoop Dogg, give it a thumbs down. And by the way, Snoop Dogg did a gospel album, I heard. I haven't listened to it, but what? Anyway, side note. Be sure to subscribe as we go live and upload brand new Devos every weekday at 7 a.m. I will see you tomorrow to close out what love isn't and what love doesn't. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow.